Hi everyone, you reached Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. For all you out there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Hit the like button, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. And share my video with your friends and family so that they can come to my channel and get to know me also. I'm here today with a video on a fellow YouTuber. Never watched him, didn't even really know about him. I'm new to this thing, but my heart goes out to him, and I do hope that he wins his case, because I think with the amount of years they're trying to put on him, I think is obsessive. It's out of control. But that's the problem with crimes. It's like there's no fairness really across the board. And when you go in court, they say, you're going to be judged by a jury of your peers. What does that really mean? Because really the jury is who they happen to select and who's available and who even got the call of action to come for jury duty. And so many of your peers try to avoid jury duty by any means necessary. So really getting a fair jury is hard for like 99 reasons. But anyway, let's talk about his story. I got this information from Fox 29 Philadelphia, online page, and it says YouTuber Ami in the Hellcat speaks out after his arrest for a privacy case. Well, first of all, his arrest was chronicalized because many of his followers, I don't know, I guess some people, they just are just ready to hit go on their cameras, on their cell phones when something goes down. So his arrest was filmed by his followers, or whatever the case may be, the day he got arrested. Has an amazing home, they said, here in New Jersey. Amazing home, I'm saying home, mansion. Okay, tons of luxury cars. So, doing pretty well for himself. But let me just read this here a little bit. It says, local YouTuber Bill Amar, known as Ami and the Hellcat, speaks to Fox 29 Chris O'Donnell after he was accused by federal authorities of heading a massive digital privacy scheme. Let me just break it down to you really quickly. So, cable vision, all of these, I guess if you want to say, for lack of a better word, legalized cable companies, they're ridiculous with their monthly fees. Long time ago, I've been around for a long time. I mean, you could used to get what they would call basic cable, so that you wouldn't need, and for those of you that probably don't even know, an antenna on your TV, because a long time ago, you can have just a regular TV, no streaming system, and you would at the very least get like all the local channels, and you have this thing on your TV called the antenna. Okay, so slowly but surely the world evolved, and we went away from antennas and everything is streaming, so forth and so on. So cable upgraded too. And cable has since, in my mind, become like the biggest scam. It's like we're not supposed to have any monopolies in this world, but cable is definitely one of them. Because if you try to get, compete and get a good price for cable in your area, they'll tell you, oh, we only Comcast service your area. And you can have maybe Comcast in like Dish Television, but you can't have Comcast and Verizon. Files are never, for whatever crazy reason, in the same area. They don't service your area. That's the monopolizing the what do you call it? Monopolizing the industry. So if Comcast is the only one in your area outside a Dish, and you don't want a Dish on the side of your home, or maybe you can't have it in your home, you have no option if you want cable but to use Comcast or Optimum, and then they charge you some ridiculous fee like $200 and something a month to watch TV. You $200 and something a month. So that's how these people like I mean a Hellcat, come around, and they're offering you different options. So he had this on his own little streaming service with his partners where you pay $15 a month and you get to see everything and anything. I mean, who the heck is not going to pay that? I mean, I'm a chicken. I'm a scaredy cat. I mean, people used to approach me when I would go to the Red Box. I don't know if anybody of y'all know about the Red Box where you could rent movies for like $1 or $1.99 or whatever. Sometimes I would be at the Red Box and people would come up to me, don't do this. I could sell you a Fire Stick and it'll be, what did they call it? They didn't call it hack. They called it something else, but you'll be able to see everything. They told me, you pay me $200 and you can see everything with this Fire Stick. And I was like, no, thank you. And they was like, well, aren't you paying $200 and something a month for cable? Do you have cable? Yes, I have cable. No, I don't want that rigged Fire Stick in my home. And no, I don't want none of that. I'm going to pay my cable bill, or you know what, I just won't have TV. But I'm not into that. I'm not knocking anybody who is, but I'm just the biggest chicken out there. So anyway, this Ami and the Hellcat found a way to, have his own little, I'm going to call it cable company, where it was $15 a month. And obviously, him and his partners must have had, tons of subscribers, because in a small time period, I want to say they said over like a 5-year time period, he made over $30 million. That's a lot of money. Okay, let me continue reading. So he said, so they was at his home in New Jersey. He says, this is after a 2-year investigation. So the feds, and that's another thing with the feds, they don't play around. They will let you hang yourself on a rope while they collect all the information, and you chilling thinking you good and all is well. And meantime, they collecting all the info they need to bring you and your empire down. Okay, so they did a 2-year investigation. They said the indictment had it was a 69-page indictment. So let me just continue on here. Let's see. Hold on one second. So after a 2-year investigation, a 69-page indictment, it outlines what federal prosecutors say was one of the largest illegal TV pirating rings they ever seen, and it was allegedly run by New Jersey YouTube star, and that's who they saying, Ami and the Hellcat, right? True to his social media persona, Ami and the Hellcat says he's not backing down. Okay. Some of his reasons for not backing down, he said, one, other people have done this. They not facing jail time. Bro, first of all, I don't know 100% his nationality, but he looks like a brown person. Don't let money fool you. Don't be delusional, okay? When you're a brown person, when there's a stop sign and you driving, you better stop at the stop sign, wait a whole 60 seconds to maybe 2 minutes before you proceed on. If you're walking down the street, you better be careful, okay? Watch yourself. Watch where you're walking, how you're walking. Watch how you talk to people. You're saying others have done it. Did the others look like you? Listen, we know the world is not fair. And when you're a brown person, flaunting that much cash, you better have every receipt, every W-2, if it's from like you working a traditional job, you better have every W-2, every tax return. Okay, you better be prepared 20 years later to show how and why and when you made this money maybe 10, 15 years ago. Because that's the world we live in. So you saying others, my brother, that's them. That's not you. You can't do that. But you're going to learn. I don't want you to learn. But unfortunately, you may learn. They're not playing that. When they see these stars that make tons of money, look at these basketball players. Look at the basketball player that did all of that time when he had the dogs that were, fighting in his home or whatever the case may be. He served all of this time. There's people out there that do worse crimes and never even seen a courtroom, let alone a jail. You got to be careful when you brown and you making all this money and then you're flaunting it. They're not happy about that. So let's continue here, okay? He's not backing down. Listen, I think he should fight his case. He should. He said, known by more than 1 million followers for showing off his high-end cars, expensive jewelry, and his megawatt smile. He has a beautiful smile. The sensation known as Ami and the Hellcat gained internet fame over the past 5 years. So that's the other thing. I think people should enjoy their money. And listen, if your thing is jewelry, your thing is jewelry. Have fun. Your thing is cars and you can afford it. Have your cars, your big mansion, your jewelry. But just understand that when you're flaunting it, it's not only your followers that are looking and watching. You get the attention of some other people too. So do you want all that attention? You got to be a little careful. Especially if you know everything you're doing, it may be a little shady. But let's continue here, okay? So the 62 count federal indictment, he's known by the government name. His name is Bill Omar. He's 34 years old, and they charged him with conspiracy to commit copyright infringement, tax evasion, and fraud. The copyright infringement is a problem. The tax evasion is a major problem, and fraud is a major problem. But that tax evasion thing, for whatever reason, the government they nasty. They don't play around with them taxes. Okay, pay your taxes. Listen, I file my taxes every year. Okay, and you one thing you got to do is pay those taxes, and you know what? Pay those taxes. But that's where I think he's running into an even bigger problem. You were flaunting this money, flaunting this cash, and then you got the nerve you wasn't paying taxes? Oh my God, I can't. All right, let's continue on. Allegedly, right? He said, I don't think I ever did anything wrong. Brother, you didn't pay your taxes. If I forget about the other stuff for a minute, you didn't pay your taxes. I mean, they do commercials on April 15th, guys, pay your taxes. You didn't think you did anything wrong? You know you gotta pay taxes. I mean, come on. In fraud, I don't know. And then this whole privacy thing, every movie you watch, every video you watch, I don't know if they still do it, but it tells you about you copyright infringement. You can't do this. You can't just share it. You can't do this. You can't do that. All right, let's go on. He said he didn't think he did anything wrong. He said, obviously, I was running the businesses. He said, obviously, because he was running them in the wide, right? He said he was running them wide open. Everybody knew, right? In the public. He said, now we're going to have our day in court. He said he's going to have his day in court. But he gotta tread lightly and tread easy. You're going to have your day in court, but the courts are nasty. And listen, there's some innocent people, you better go talk to them, that are locked up. I mean, I guess you're lucky because you probably have the funds to pay good lawyers, and I hope they're really good. Because like I said, they're trying to, I think they said something about 515 years. I think that's insanity. So I don't think he deserves to serve that much time. Like, come on, that's just crazy. But I don't make these rules up. So let's continue. He said, so fresh out of federal custody with a camera in hand, and the social media influencer spoke with Fox 29 outside his home in New Jersey. And they said it was dotted with a dozen high-end Mercedes, okay? You need 12 Mercedes? He had Jeep and Dodge vehicles. One neighbor called his home the car dealership. Now, see, that just don't even make no sense. And see, that's the problem too. I'm telling you, unfortunately, that's the problem too. The neighbors had issues with you. Now, I'm not saying the issues are right. Listen, you got neighbors jealous of less. So now you got all of these cars in your driveway, to the point where the neighbors are calling your home the car dealership. This is insanity. But see, I'm going to say this too, and I'm saying this in the most nicest way that I can. The unfortunate part, when you have a generation that didn't come from money and then they raise themselves up to money, sometimes they don't know how to handle that money. Even if you had the money, is there a need for that many cars, a dozen Mercedes, to the point where the people looked in your driveway and they said your home looks like the dealership? All right, let's continue on here. I got to put on my glasses, okay? He claims past accountants and tax preparers got him into tax trouble. Boyfriend, brother, you blaming it on the tax people? Let me tell you something. When I go to my accountant, I bring her everything. The little part-time job that I had for 2 days. If I didn't get one of my returns back yet if I did a lot of jobs that year, I let her know. Like, do I need to wait? I ask questions. When I owe money, I'm like, okay, where do I write this check? How long do I have? What do I got to do? I ask questions. You don't want the tax people coming for you. You don't. Not at all. Let me put on my glasses, but that's not gonna fly in the court. I hope you got a better excuse. And wait, before I even go there, the fact that you spoke to this news after you got out from being arrested, where was your lawyer? Your lawyer's scaring me now. Your lawyer should have told you, shut your mouth. But you're so used to, and listen, I think this happens a lot once you become like, a YouTuber or a social media influencer. Sometimes we don't know when to shut up. And you it's like you're on all the time, 24/7. He had his camera in his hand and he was just ready to talk to the people like freely. No, where was your lawyer? Your lawyer should have been with you and said, shut your mouth. Matter of fact, if your lawyer came to bail you out the jail, he should have told you, don't say a word to anyone. We got a case we need to prepare and win. Shut your mouth. No one's your friend. If the press is at your house when you get back there, tell them you have no comment. But he was running his mouth. Because this is what he said. Okay, so where are we here? So the indictment claims from 2016 to 2019, him and two partners created an illegal multi-million-dollar TV streaming empire. And heck yeah, it was an empire. It claims his company stole and retransmitted cable signals from companies like Comcast and Verizon Fios, and subscribers would pay a $15 a month subscription for access to premium cable channels, on-demand movies, and prepaid events, according to the indictments. I mean, well, listen, when you paying $15 a month for all of that, I mean, yeah, it was a multi-million-dollar business because people are sick of these $200 and $300 cable bills, and then when a special fight comes on, they're paying another $100 or $40 or $50 for that. It's ridiculous, but I pay it. Yeah, this is crazy. But anyway, let's carry on. So he was arrested in his own early Tuesday morning. The arrest was live streamed by his followers on social media. He says he was exploiting what he called a gray area in the law. So he said he was exploiting what he called a gray area in the law. Why would you even say this? Now they have it documented. So you know that you was doing something wrong because you said you was exploiting a gray area in the law. Shut up. Sometimes people, they get themselves in more trouble. Now he said this, so now the court's got this documented. So mobile users can view the, he said, I found a loophole where I ran through it and I did great. He said there is other colleagues in the same business I was in, and they never got in trouble with the FBI. Dude, but it don't matter. Maybe they didn't make as much as you did, or maybe they made as much as you did as more, but they stayed quiet, so they was under the radar. But you couldn't be under the radar because you didn't stay quiet, and you bought this mansion. And that was fine. But then in the mansion, you had so many cars that looked like a car dealership. So you was bringing attention to yourself. And then you had your YouTube channel, your social media, and you flaunting the jewelry and the this and the that and the whatever. So maybe there were plenty of people that are doing that same as you and are still doing it. But the difference is they're not flaunting it. So no FBI, they didn't get on the FBI's radar. So let's continue. Okay. Of course, law enforcement and people are going to start to wonder, well, who is this person that can afford all of this stuff? You brought it on yourself. It's a shame, but you did. Okay. He says he knew an arrest could be imminent. Like he knew arrest could be coming. So you don't stop? Okay, back in November of 2019, his home was raided by agents. So in 2019, your home was raided, and here it is, 2021, and you continued on like you didn't stop this stuff when they raided your home. Okay, and they hauled away $35 million in assets. He was making hella cash. Okay, $35 million in assets, okay? The government confiscated dozens of properties around Philadelphia and more than 50 vehicles, including a $205,000 Bentley, okay? $140,000 Tesla, a $233,000 Rolls Royce. He wasn't playing with the cars. Okay, he loved his toys. He loved his expensive toys, okay? So so they said, pretty much he faces decades in prisons. He was a former drug dealer from North Philly, turned millionaire, and he said he moved on to other business ventures while his case he's already moved on to other business ventures while his case goes through the systems. Good Lord. I will say this. Listen, obviously he has a high level of intelligence, right? So this is my issue with, I used to watch that, what was it? American Greed. I used to watch that all the time. And it was like full of these intelligent people who, to me, if they took one step and instead of doing their whole operation illegal, they could have did something legal and probably would have gained like that same amount of money. Just like, the Amazon guy and, the Netflix person. Like, use your energy and build you up an empire that is not going to eventually land you in big trouble or in jail. So to this Army and the Hellcat, I'm going to say this. I wish you well. I do hope and pray that, your lawyers, if you do time, it's not this 514 or whatever amount of crazy years that they're proposing. But I'm feeling like you need new lawyers because you should have never, thank God I get to tell your story, but you should have never spoken to this Fox News after you got out of your arrest. You said too much. You said way too much as far as I'm concerned about the gray area and the loophole and, the reason why you in tax trouble is because of past tax accountants. Well, if they were past tax accountants, why didn't your newest and latest tax accountant tell you, yo, you got to go back and pay all these other taxes and pay up that money? And when they came and confiscated $35 million worth of access from your home, that didn't tell you like, I gotta move differently. He's young too. He's too young to be facing this amount of jail time and going to jail. Listen, I wish you well. This is a lesson to many. You really, take your time, build your empire, build it legally, and if it's something illegal, even no matter how much cash is going to bring you, turn from it, resist from it. Your time will come. I'd rather live in a studio apartment. I'd rather live in a studio apartment and can sleep at night and not be facing, jail time or just constantly looking over my shoulder versus having, maybe a good 5 or 6 years living it up and then eventually living the rest of my time, in somebody's jail with a clink clink. So a studio apartment, I don't know, the smallest I ever seen, maybe it's 500 square feet or something like that. But I never been to jail. But what is this? What is a cell? And then you have a roommate. What is it? 200 square feet or is it 100 square feet? Like, and you for what? Anyway, let me know, guys, how you feel about this story. Chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. My message to him is get a new lawyer, because your lawyer should have told you once you got bailed out, zip it, shut your mouth. Don't say anything that has to do with this case. You can talk about whatever else you want to talk about. Talk about what you eating for breakfast, lunch, dinner, I don't know. Walk around and say what they took from your house, what they confiscated, I don't know. But the last thing you want to do is talk about the case and the gray areas and how you was playing around with a loophole. They're going to say, well, what you was doing was wrong. Guys, chat with me in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this case. And don't forget to hit the like button. And I'll see you soon. See you in the next video.